thrills and chills on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. The greatest racers on snow take on the new track here in Michigan. But the big question is, who can derail the T-Train, Tucker Hibbert? Find out next on CBS Sports Network.
It's round 11 of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. We're at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant, Michigan for the Soaring Eagles Ram Snowcross. A new track in a new area here in Michigan. Some great racing. Let's take a look at some racing action from round one, heat one of the Pro Open qualifying.
Here they come to turn number one. Who's it going to be with the stud boy Holshot?
That is Jonas working the outside. Going with him is Lavallee.
And they're three wide to turn number two.
And that was Logan Christian working the outside. Two teammates going bar to bar up the hill. Logie looks to have position down into the Ram corner. Cody trying everything he can to try to make a line across. Here comes Logan. Logan Christian takes the win. It's a new venue in Michigan and a new racetrack. It's a big racetrack. Mike Schroeder along with Scott Wren. We talk about this racetrack and we just watched some earlier action. Some pretty good racing on a track that's bigger than we've been on for a while.
Oh, the distance is longer than what we've been on. Plus, the snow condition is way different. I mean, we got really heavy, wet, thick snow. We're used to running that sandy, silty kind of stuff. This is way different than we're used to. The guys are having to do their homework.
We had an opportunity to catch up with Kyle Pauline earlier to see what he had to say about the racetrack.
It's excellent. The track is really big compared to the last two races we've been at. So that's going to definitely throw in some changes for us racers because we're used to the tight racing conditions. But, you know, it'll give us a little more time to make some good passes and be a little bit more patient. But it's also, I went and walked it, it's very technical. So if you try to force things sometimes, I think you're going to wind up laying in the snow. So patience is going to be key here.
There you see the top 10 in points. Tucker Hibbert, Cody Cam, Kyle Pauline, Broberg, and Thompson. It's getting tight out there.
Well, they say they don't race for the points. They don't pay attention to it. They're going for the race win. But we kind of know better than that because the guys are starting to watch those points.
Points are going to be important with only 6 rounds yet to go. Tell you what, let's go down and meet the other member of our broadcast team. Let's go down to Carly Applin. Carly?
Hey guys, the Ram flags behind me have been our indicator all day of just how hard this wind has been blowing. We've been dealing with 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. If that wind gets up under a sled, it can shift a racer from one side of the track to the other. So they have to be patient and take their time out here so they can maintain control of those 500-pound sleds. Mike?
Thanks, Carly. Windy it is. It'll be interesting to see how it affects the 14 drivers in the AMSOIL Pro Open Final. Coming up next, from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, here at the Soaring Eagles Ram Snowcross. We'll be back with the final right after this.
AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram, is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics, by Traxxas, the fastest name in radio control, and by Ski-Doo.
We are in Mount Pleasant, Michigan at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort for the Soaring Eagles Ram Snowcross. And of course, it's all part of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. You know what? It has been cold and it has been windy here, and it is going to be interesting to see how the wind affect these sleds tonight in this final. Mike Schroeder, Scott Wren, Carly Applin will be joining us outside. Currently 27 degrees. It feels like it's 11 out there, Scott, but that wind, as we talked about, it's windy, 28 miles an hour, almost consistent with more gusts.
Oh, and the wind gusts of up to 45 miles an hour, and some people don't mind it, but a lot of the riders have it. They have them scared.
Well, here is the front row, the way that they line up. Tucker Hibbert, of course, your number one qualifier. Then it will be Johan Liedman, Logan Christian, David Jonas, and Petter Narsa. There you see the rest of the top 10, the way that they line up. Let's go back and look at the back row. Only 4 drivers having to go through an LCQ. Lincoln Lemieux, Bobby LePage, Zach Patton, and Levi Lavallee. This far into the season, we're finding we've got about 10 or 11 drivers that are injured to the point where they can't race. Tough deal. That's why the field only 14 tonight.
And there's some of them out there right now, including Levi Lavallee, who's actually out there with a wounded knee right now, hurt himself or re-injured his knee in the qualifiers. So he's running, I guess, basically with a busted wing.
Let's take and go down to Carly Applin, who's got some insight from the starting grid.
Hey guys, fans might be wondering how we determine who jumps the start. There's an invisible line right in front of these sleds as they line up. If a rider crosses that line before the race starts, it triggers a red light. If that red light goes off, our spotters at the start line determine who needs to go to the back of the pack. None of the racers want to start there because that can be the difference between a good and bad start. Back to you guys.
Carly, right down in the mix down there, you can hear those motors getting warmed up on the Traxxas starting line. And there you see the red light she's talking about, Scott. You know, if anybody breaks the beam, and right now somebody's probably standing in front of it, they'll make sure that that's clear. That red light's going to come on, and that means, hey, somebody's jumped here a bit.
You know, one thing is interesting as well is I found out earlier this morning that I was asked the guys, why does it flicker sometimes on and off right before the start? And when it's really, really cold out, these sleds make you see all kind of that smoke? That smoke crosses the beam, and that triggers that red light to flicker on and off.
The way that these drivers line up on the starting grid is going to be easy. They're basically going from your right to left, an inch or so, and they will be good to go. It once again is ready. Under starter's orders.
There's our starter. Right hand is on the green button. The green line's out. No one jumps the corner. Who's going to pull the whole shot?
Watch him into the corner. Tucker Hibbert right there, and it's Kyle Pauline again. But look at Hibbert, and going with Hibbert. Is that Narsa? I believe it is. Boy, they bunch up in that first corner. Hibbert shakes free out in front. Down the Soaring Eagles ascent and descent. It's Hibbert out front.
Man, Narsa looked very strong in qualifiers this afternoon. We thought maybe he had something for Tucker Hibbert, but right now it falls back to that second spot.
Johan Liedman sitting in second. Then you see one of the Pertec machines, and I don't know if that could possibly be Cody Cam that has worked his way up. We'll let these guys work their way through. We know that Hibbert out in front, and then we'll set up all the field as they come through, and we see him on our scoring grid. Tucker Hibbert, your #1 qualifier, your current points leader on the Monster Energy Arctic Cat, is your race leader. Comes back across, he'll come across the AMSOIL finish line. So it is Hibbert, and look at Cam. Cam has moved up into second. Liedman, Thompson, Jonas, Pauline in sixth. Then it's Brobert, Christian, Narsa, and Jake Scott, your top 10. Right now, Tucker Hibbert with a 1 second lead over Cody Cam.
And Cody Cam not about to let Tucker Hibbert get away this early in the race. If Tucker Hibbert is able to break free and run away this fast, this early, it will be just that by the midpoint. He'll be gone.
Oh, and Cam goes big on the downhill. He is shaving into that lead a little bit. Last time, Hibbert ran a 53.96. Cam ran a 54.115. Let's watch them as they go across and see where the intervals are now. They come through the ram turn. There's Hibbert, your race leader. It was 9.98 last time. This time when they come by, it's more than what I thought it was. Cam looks faster on the racetrack than that, but now Hibbert's lead a little over 2 seconds.
That's how disguisingly fast that Tucker Hibbert is as we take another look at the start. Now keep your eye on the right side of the screen. Tucker Hibbert pulls out in front of 2-3 sleds real quick. It kind of goes a little bit to the right before he turns left. And it was Pauline that looked like he had a shot at for a second, but now Tucker Hibbert starts his charge.
There's your race leader again working through the back part of the racetrack. And of course, Cody Cam trying to make up that difference. It was a little over 2 seconds last time around. 12 laps. We're lurking on lap number 4. 4 of 12 laps. There you see Cody Cam. Cam currently sitting in second in points. Comes through the ram turn. Let's look at the interval this time, Scott, as they come across the AMSOIL finish line. About the same, 2.3 seconds.
And Cody Cam, I'm going to reiterate the fact he cannot let Tucker Hibbert pull away. Even by 2/10, 3/10 of a second per lap, he's got to stay right there in touch. But this track, actually I'm kind of surprised that it's kind of holding together. This snow is a little bit more compact, not as loose as what we're used to seeing.
There you see Cam go back up over the U.S. Air Force flyaway, trying everything that he can, trying to find any line that will give him an advantage to try to make up some ground on the masker, Tucker Hibbert. Look at Hibbert, just so smooth, doubling through the back part. Then he comes across the CBS, of course, tabletop, and man, I'll tell you what, it is smooth. There
Johan
you see
Liedman right there.
Liedman, and of course Liedman sitting in third. He's about another 2.5 seconds behind Cody Cam, or 5 seconds behind Tucker Hibbert. So Liedman in third place.
You know, talk about this track a little bit. We're seeing something we haven't seen all season long. We're seeing those snow chunks, almost like gravel, and it's being kicked up in these riders, and it's actually kind of hurting these guys a little bit in their chest and the hands, even in the helmet.
It's like throwing rocks at you is what it's really like. Imagine taking a handful of ice cubes and throwing them at you at about 40, 50 miles an hour. It can be very painful. You know, they've got all the protective equipment, but still, it gets in your goggles, it gets through parts of your mask, your gloves and stuff like that. Very painful.
And look at the timing of Tucker Hibbert. When he's flying through the air, he lifts on the throttle just a tad, but gets back on it right when they land. You can see that kicks up the roost upon the landing. And if you get too close to that, you're going to have what you just talked about.
Cody Thompson has worked his way back up into fourth place. Thompson, of course, one of the factory Arctic Cat riders. We take a look at him. He's about 2 seconds behind Johan Liedman for that third place. But back up front, there it is on the Monster Energy Arctic Cat. Your race leader now with about a 5.5 second lead, working on lap 7 of 12, is Tucker Hibbert. That is Cody Cam. Cam currently in second. There is Liedman. And then you see Cody Thompson in fourth place on his Arctic Cat. So that gives you some interval as between the top 4 drivers.
There's Logan Christian running in the top 5 right now.
Logan had a couple of good qualifying runs, just can't put it together here in the final, but this guy finding no problems at all. Tucker Hibbert across the CBS tabletop, back down into that ram corner, skipping around, coming across the Amsoil finish line to complete another lap. Now working on lap 8 of 12, 8 of 12.
Tucker Hibbert, his fast lap was 52.71 on lap number 5, I believe it was.
He's sitting on about a 6 second lead over Cody Cam, so Cody's let him slip a little bit. One of the good battles that we've seen on the racetrack was that of Cody Thompson trying to catch Johan Liedman for the last podium spot. Now he's fell off a bit too, but there's no falling off here. You see the red plate indicating that, hey, guess what? I'm the points leader, come catch me. And right now there's just nobody out there that that's going to do that today.
You know, we've watched Tucker Hibbert have really bad starts this year. Goes off the track and is dead last in the field. But he doesn't get shaken up. He comes back time after time. And when he comes back down to working his way through the field, and then you got situations like this where he's got the lead almost on the second lap and he's gone.
Tucker Hibbert out in front right now. Let's go down to Carly Applin.
We've seen Cody Cam and Tucker Hibbert go at it all season. Cody Cam inching on Tucker tonight. We want to also point out, as the riders come over this tabletop, the wind is getting up under those sleds. It can shift them from one side of the track to the other, so keep an eye on that. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly. As she's watching from down trackside, got a great perspective of how the wind may be affecting the sleds a little bit. Tucker Hibbert doesn't seem to be being affected. He's still out in front with about a 7 second lead over the rest of the field.
You know, talking to Tucker this afternoon, he's got that sled set up to actually keep the skis down. So if he wants to get the skis back up, he just leans back and hits the throttle. That'll do it. But he's got that sled set up right now to fly through the air with the skis down. Because if he gets into that wind and it starts picking it up, it's lost.
Working on lap number 10 of 12. Down the Soaring Eagle, they ascend first, then they descend, and now they'll climb back up to the Air Force flyaway. It's a great shot of him jumping into that big muscle light there.
Yeah, that's directly into the wind, too. So
it is.
That'll pick up that skis or that front end like we talked about.
Some lappers ahead of him. I think that's Lincoln Lemieux that he's trying to get around. We see Cody Cam. Cam now about 7.5 seconds behind, sitting in second place. And like you said, it may be just 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths of a second per lap, but you can't do that. You got to run almost consistent lap times with Tucker to try to catch him.
Yeah, it's just a little bit at a time, but all of a sudden you turn your back, and all those little bits have added up to, like you say, 7.5 second gap.
And that's one of the things about Tucker. He is so patient with 2 laps left to go. You know, he'll just take it almost like you would the expression nickel and dime you to death, you know, as he continues to work through. Johan Liedman there on the NSK Skidoo out of Warner Racing, still in third place, as he's got about a 9-second lead over Cody Thompson for third. Liedman, as he works his way through, and as we talked about Liedman, he wasn't very solid early on in the year, but now has picked up the pace, and this is going to be maybe his second podium of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it was the first weekend of the series this year, 2014, that he hurt himself in Duluth, and he's come back strong, especially like you had mentioned earlier, in the last 3 races or so. He's really gotten strong.
Working through the back part, double checkered flags out. White flag out, 1 lap left to go. Tucker Hibbert working on his final lap here as he goes back down into the Skidoo corner, takes a peek over his shoulder, and knows all he's got to do is just kind of coast that Arctic Cat around this demanding racetrack, and he's got another notch on his belt, if you will.
Oh, that resume is so thick right now with wins. Obviously the winningest rider of all time in Snowcross history. And I'm watching him right now, and he hasn't slowed down any from the first third of this race in the final third. I mean, he's standing up on that sled. He's up over the bars. He's aggressively attacking his track with 2 turns remaining. Now a short straightaway into the final corner. Runs up onto the berm. The fans are already applauding. And here we go, another win for Tucker Hibbert, and he extends his win streak once again.
Hibbert giving a little fist pump to the crowd. Cody Cam will come across in second. And, you know, Cam, even though he was quite a ways back, he's got to look at that as kind of being a good run for him as he qualified 9th. Got beat by about 12 seconds, but still got to the podium. That's what he needed to do for points, and puts himself up. And then Johan Liedman. And Liedman, a nice run to take and end up with the top 3 here. We are going to be back in just a couple of moments as Tucker makes his way around. We'll be down to talk to your race leader, Tucker Hibbert, in just a couple of minutes.
Now a short straightaway into the final corner. Runs up onto the berm. The fans are already applauding. And here we go, another win for Tucker Hibbert, and he extends his win streak once again.
Round 11 is complete here in the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram. Let's go down trackside with Carly Applin, who's with our winner.
Congratulations, Tucker Hibbert. You came into this race very confident. You said you like this track. Give us your view of that win tonight.
It was awesome. You know, I got a great start. We made some adjustments to the sled right before the main event, and it paid off. The Monster Energy Arctic Cat ripped out of that start. Got to thank Speedworks and Ram Truck. Everyone that's behind me on my team, we've been working hard, and it's nice to have a big track. This track is really awesome. The only bummer is the wind, which is a little challenging, but we were able to pull through. We got to thank God for keeping me safe, and say hi to Mom.
Cody Cam is trying to creep up you from behind. Did you feel him behind you during that race?
Yeah, I saw Cody the first few laps there, and I was kind of keeping an eye on him. He was riding really well, so I just focused on myself, tried to put down some really fast laps, and I was able to gap him, so it was good. It was a fun race.
Congratulations, Tucker. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly, and again, congratulations going out to Tucker Hibbert. We'll be back to wrap things up here in just a couple of moments.
AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram, is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. By Arctic Cat, share our passion. And by Polaris, terrain domination.
so smooth, doubling through the back part. Then he comes across the CBS Sports gable top, and man, I'll tell you what, it is smooth. Tucker Hibbert, your winner in round 11 of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram. He was qualified number 1, won both his heats, of course, took and won the final. Nobody was going to catch him tonight, Scott.
The weather conditions, the competition, it was still all the Tucker Hibbert show.
Tell you what, let's go down trackside with Carly Applin.
I'm with third place Johan Liedman and second place Cody Cam. First, Johan, I want to talk about that battle with Cody Thompson out there.
Yeah, he was right behind me for a while, but at the end I stopped hearing his sled, so I could relax a little bit. But it was an intense battle.
Congratulations on third, and in second place, Cody Cam, coming from qualifying 9th to second place. How badly were you staring down 68? And congratulations on second place.
I was struggling in the heat races today. I ended up qualifying 9th, and thank God I was in the front row, and that helped a lot. I got off to a real good start from the outside and just was right behind Tucker for a while, and then started fading off a little bit and just couldn't stay on his pace.
Congratulations to Cody and Johan. Now back to you guys.
We'll take a look at the top 10, the way they finished here in round number 11. Tucker Hibbert with the win, Cody Cam in second, Johan Liedman, Thompson, and Christian. Those are the top 5, a good order and some great racing, Scott.
Yeah, Cody Cam finished 12 seconds back from our leader at the finish line, but the gap wasn't that big on the track.
Let's take a look at the way that the point standings are. Tucker Hibbert still out in front. Cody Cam, Kyle Pauline, Justin Broberg, and Cody Thompson, your top 5. A little shuffling around, and it's going to fluctuate now in those top 6-8 places.
I think right now the guy we need to keep an eye on as he works his way through the final 5 rounds of racing has got to be Kyle Pauline. He's been working his way up from the 5th spot just a few rounds ago.
That's the way that they wrap up. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us here, of course, at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort for the Soaring Eagle Ram Snowcross. We hope that you've had a great time, all part of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. For more information and the results and point standings, go to isocracing.com. Don't forget that our next broadcast will be on March 16th at 10:30 a.m. For Carly Applin, Scott Wren, and our entire crew, I'm Mike Schroeder. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. This has been a presentation of the CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.